Creating a discipleship culture in your church takes a lot of work. You can get there, but you got to really think it through. Be strategic about, how you are eliminating sideways energy and how you're moving forward, especially if you're a pastor, if you're an elder, if you're a staff member at church. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 disciple-making environments in the church, and we'll use this image to help us to get it straight. First of all, you've got the family. Second, you have the small group. Third, you have the serving team. And then finally, you have that one-on-one or two-on-two mentoring environment. So let's break this down. First, the family is the easiest place to get disciple making started in the church, especially families with young children. Our kids category is perfect if you want to get conversations started at home. Sometimes you call that family devotionals, and they date all the way back to Moses' day. Moses said this in Deuteronomy 6, to the parents and grandparents, you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I'm giving you today. He had just given them the 10 commandments. He said, repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you're at home, when you're on the road, when you're going to bed, and when you're getting up. This has been true for thousands of years. Parents, grandparents, it's your job to disciple your kids. It's not your church's job. So check out the kids category at PursueGOD.org and start having conversations every week. The earlier you start, the more natural it will be for your kids, especially as they get into those preteen and teen years. Start discipling them when they're young, and it'll be a lot easier to cover some of those student topics when they get a little bit older. Now, the second environment for disciple making is the small group. This is where everyone in the church can receive care, not from one overworked pastor, but from people who know them best. We talk about this a little bit more in our small group training series online. Back to Moses in the wilderness, when his father-in-law saw all that he was doing, it's kind of like he was the solo pastor for this massive church. The father-in-law asked, what are you really accomplishing here? Why are you trying to do all this alone while everyone stands around you from morning till evening? Now, if you're familiar with that passage, essentially Jethro, the father-in-law, was telling Moses to organize Israel into smaller groups, all the way down to groups of 10, hence small groups. These have been around forever, and in the church, small groups are really important because you can use those conversation starters online. Series are perfect for small groups, and you can start discipling people in the group setting. And on top of that, your small group leaders can make handoffs for more personalized one-on-one mentoring. Now, the same thing is true in a serving team at church. These can be strategic as far as making those handoffs, whether inside the church, like on a clean team or the usher greeter team, or outside the church, if you're doing local outreach and you're using that as an opportunity to connect people who need discipling with the mentors that you've already trained up. Now, last but not least, the final mentoring environment is that one-on-one disciple making. And this is the calling on every single Christian's life. Not everyone is going to be blessed with children to disciple. Not everyone has the skill to lead a small group or to lead a team, but everyone can find someone to disciple. This is why Jesus told his disciples, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptize them, teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I've given you. And don't worry, I'm going to be with you always, even to the end of the age. If Jesus thought that some fishermen and tax collectors were smart enough and capable enough to do it, then people in your church can do it as well. So those are the 4 environments for disciple making. Now use those questions down below to talk about how to apply this to your church context.